Hi everyone, it's Miss Rossi. Today we're going to be making some fluffy snowmen. What you'll be needing today is a white piece of paper. We're going to be using some watercolor paints to paint our background. If you don't have watercolor paints, you can always use construction paper that is a different color, and that'll work. We're going to need some cotton balls today to add some texture to our snowman. I have a pencil, an eraser, a marker, and I have a glue stick. Now today we're going to make a snowman that is nice and white and fluffy using our cotton balls. If you don't have cotton balls at home, you can always rip up a white piece of paper and use those little torn pieces of paper to make your snowman too. Now since our snowman is going to be white with our cotton balls, we want our paper to be a different color. So I'm going to paint my paper using all different colors from my watercolor palette to make it nice and bright and colorful. You can paint your paper to be whatever colors you would like. I think I'm going to do mine a mix of blues and greens and purples because those colors remind me of cold weather and winter. Now when we're using our watercolor paints, we want to make sure we wet our paintbrush in our water and we wipe the edge of our brush off on the side of the cup. This is so our water doesn't drip all over the table. We also want to make sure we wash our paintbrush before we go into a new color. So I made sure to swirl my paintbrush around in my cup of water before I went from my blue paint to my green paint. Now, if you don't have watercolor paints at home, you can always use a piece of colored construction paper as your background. As long as it is not white, you'll be able to see your snowman, and that will work. You can even use like newspaper or wrapping paper if you want something that has a pattern as your background too. But I'm just going to carefully go in with all of my different colors here and fill up my background. Now that my whole background of my paper is colored in and there is not a lot of white space left, I'm going to let my paper dry as I clean up my watercolor paints. Alright, now that I have cleaned up my area and my paper is dry, I can start drawing my snowman. You want to make sure your paper is almost completely dry before you start drawing on top of it, otherwise you might rip your paper with your pencil. You just want to be extra careful as you're drawing today. Now, on top of our nice colorful paper, we're going to draw our snowman. Our snowman is going to be made up of 3 circles. We're going to start with a nice big circle head at the top of our paper. Then we're going to make another bigger circle for the body. And then one final huge circle down at the bottom for the rest of our snowman's body. So we have 1, 2, 3 different sections on our snowman. I'm going to draw a hat on my snowman's head by drawing a rectangle and then another rectangle right on top. I am also going to give my snowman 2 big eyes and a triangle nose. So I have 2 nice big oval eyes and a triangle nose by drawing a line down and 2 lines meeting at a point. I can also give my snowman a smile by drawing a bunch of little circles. I'm going to grab my marker now and I'm just going to trace over all of my pencil lines. I'm going to start with my snowman's hat, tracing that rectangle, my 4-sided shape, and then that other rectangle I drew along the top. I can color this in with my marker. If you want yours to be all different colors. You can use all different colored markers to color in your snowman. I am going to color in all of my details black or leave them just outlined so that we can see that nice colorful background that we made. I'm going to add a stripe on my hat that shows our background. I'm just doing another straight line in there, and then I can color in the rest of my snowman's hat. I'm coloring nice and slowly back and forth. My paper is still a little damp, so I don't want to rip it, and I want to make sure that I fill in all of that space to color in each shape fully. Now that my hat is done, I'm going to trace those big circle lines I drew for my snowman's head and for my snowman's body. Oh, I forgot to give my snowman some arms, so I'm going to switch back to my pencil and give my snowman some nice arms made out of sticks. So I'm just drawing a straight line up and then two smaller straight lines at the end as some hands. Now that I drew those, I can trace right over the top with my marker so they'll be easier to see. And I can trace my snowman's face. So I'm going to color in those eyes. I'm just going to trace over my nose instead of coloring it in. And I'm going to color in the circles for my mouth. Now that my snowman is traced, I am ready to start adding my cotton balls to make him white. So I'm going to uncap my glue stick, and I'm going to start in this middle section of my snowman. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right towards the center here, and I'm going to grab one of my cotton balls. Now again, if you don't have cotton balls at home, you can just rip up a piece of white paper and use that to fill in your snowman. We just want to give our snowman a different texture so it feels different than the rest of our paper. Now I am just tearing up my cotton ball into smaller pieces and filling in the section of my snowman. Once I cover up all of that glue, I can add a little bit more on my paper, going small sections at a time and pressing on some more of my cotton ball. And I like to use a cotton ball for this because they are so fluffy and soft, just like real snow is. And I'm trying my best to stay inside the lines of my snowman's body that I just drew. All right, there we go. Now my snowman's middle section of its tummy is all finished. I'm going to go down towards the rest of the body. And I'm going to do the same thing where I'm putting glue inside my lines, ripping up my cotton ball and sticking it onto my paper. Alright, now that I got the rest of my snowman's body finished, I can go up towards the head, and I'm going to be really careful on the head because I don't want to cover up my snowman's eyes or his smile, so I'm just going to put some cotton balls around the edge of my snowman's face. So I'm going to rip some little pieces and just follow along the edge so I don't cover up the face that I spent all that time drawing. And that is what my snowman looks like all finished. Once you're done adding your white paper or your cotton balls to your snowman, you can add any other little decorations or details you would like. I'm going to leave mine the way that it is. Once you're finished with your project, if you'd like to share a photo of it with me, you can always send it to me in an email. I would love to see the snowman that you guys have created at home. Try your best, have fun, and get creative, and I'll see you soon. Bye!